Hi everyone, it's Jaden. Welcome back to my channel where I share information on health, fitness, and self-optimization. On today's video, I'm going to go over reasons why I think that you could be stuck in phase 2 and phase 3. Again, I came up with the concept of 5 different phases for my health crash recovery, and my health crash consists of adrenal fatigue, burnout, overtraining, HPA axis dysfunction, anxiety disorder, panic attacks, and hormonal imbalance. So I kind of all group that into one, and I call it health crash. Before we get into the video, I am not a medical doctor or a therapist. I'm not trying to treat or diagnose you of any illness or disease. I highly recommend you consult with your medical professional before taking on any health advice. Everything I'm sharing is strictly my own experience and the information I found for your own research and educational purposes. The 5 different phases of recovery all kind of overlap with each other. Phase 1 kind of overlaps with phase 2, so on and so on. But especially phase 2 and 3, they tend to overlap a little more just because phase 2, it's like the more complicated and not quite, like you're not quite their version of phase 3, if that makes any sense. But if you're following my videos and you've been a subscriber and you know my content, I think that should make sense to you. So phase 2 and phase 3 can definitely be confusing and they overlap each other. So, and here's reasons why I think that is happening. These are the conclusions that I came up with as I've looked back in my own journey and my own recovery. All right, so let's just jump right into it. So number 1 is that you are not recognizing the false recovery of phase 2. Definitely check out my videos on all the phases. They go into more detail on each phase. So you want to check those out so that you know more of what I'm kind of talking about in this video. It is very common in phase 2 and even sometimes phase 3 that you are falsely thinking you're more well than you are. That's not to say that you're not recovering, because I don't want to put a negative input like on anyone's recovery, but you are recovering, but you're not recovering as well, and you're not as far along to the full recovery as you think you are. So by not knowing that, you will make choices and decisions that could set you back and keep you in those phases. Number 2 is you're applying or you're adding too much physical activity and stimulants too fast. As you know, with each phase, you want to gradually heal, and then eventually around the end of phase 3 and phase 4, you are adding in physical activity, allowing yourself to be exposed to more stimulation, and just allowing yourself to be more emotional, because in phase 1 and 2 it's really not a good idea to expose yourself to all that, because you're just going to keep having setbacks, so your body is still not healed enough and it's still too fragile for that. So I personally waited till like middle phase 3. So but if you don't recognize that you're still in phase 2 and you think that the extreme ups and downs of phase 2, which happens where you feel really good one day and you crash the next day, on those days that you're feeling really good, you're not actually feeling that well completely. So then it's going to cause you to be like, okay, I can do more workout now because I'm feeling better. So by making that choice, you will cause yourself to have a setback, because you're at the core still too weak to move forward that fast with your health crash recovery. Number 3, you're not being consistent enough with nutrition, which is food, eating on time, and your recovery, which is rest and sleep. You really got to focus on those 3 things. Those are 3 most important things, more important than any supplement, for me anyways, any therapy, any bells and whistles type of things. All that is to add on top of this foundation, which is proper nutrition, eating on time, eating well, getting enough rest and sleep. So if you're not focused and consistent on those things, and consistent I mean daily, and consistent I mean a good amount of time, like months, not a couple days, not one day you're doing great and then 2 days you're off of it, and then 3 days you're back on it, and 2 days up. Like, you got to be good for a long period of time consistently Okay, so if you're not doing that, it's definitely going to cause you to stay in phase 2 and 3 and not continue to heal, and you can even cause like more crashes and setbacks. Number 4, so that this kind of ties in with number 3, that is, because you're not consistently eating well, you're not regulating your blood sugar levels. And with blood sugar levels going up and down, and this is a very common symptom of this type of health crash, check out my video on that, or actually a few videos on that. It is a major stress for your body to have your blood sugars go up and down. So if you're not being consistent and eating strategically to help your blood sugar levels, you are gonna never get out of this phase 2 and 3, because your body is still so stressed over this inability to regulate your blood sugar. It's causing you a lot of stress and discomfort, and it does your body a lot of damage to have your blood sugars go up and down all the time. So definitely focus on that if that is one thing that you might be lacking on. Number 5 is that your daily life is actually still quite stressful, but you just don't realize it. I was certainly guilty of this. I mean, guys, we're all living in, pretty chronically stressed kind of life these days. Not all of us, but and not all the time, but I think a lot of us and a lot of times right now in this these days, and we just don't realize it. So even though you have this health crash and you're trying to recover, and you might think and might be still somewhat blind to the fact that you think you're relaxed and doing less, but in fact, maybe you're still hooked into your emails 24 hours a day, and you're still playing too much video games, or being, on the computer, or just, I could come up with endless reasons, but you gotta, I won't be able to tell you exactly which one is for you particularly, so you guys would have to figure that out for yourself. But, a lot of times that we forget that we're still actually very hooked in and plugged in, and we're still very stressed, and you think that you've taken a break, but really you haven't. So take a closer look at that with yourself and your life, and that could be a reason why you can't fully move forward to the next phase and eventually towards full recovery, is that you're not recognizing that you're still really stressed out. Okay, it could be a relationship that you have in your life that you've just been in that relationship, whether it's like family or a loved one or your significant other, for so long that you've just accepted it, even if it's stressful. Now, I'm not trying to tell you to make any drastic decisions in your life, but definitely take a look at that. It definitely helped me, and for me to clean up, the stress in all forms in my life. All right, number 6 is getting too emotional or worked up without realizing it. So kind of the same thing. Like if you're somebody who's highly emotional, or you have a lot of anger, fear, just excitement or whatnot, that's like those high-end emotions in your life, and you're used to it, and you don't realize that you're constantly that way, even though your brain might think that like, oh well, recently I made a choice, I'm getting myself balanced, and I'm getting on a healthy lifestyle, I'm trying to recover from this health crash. But because you're so used to, like, let's say the balanced level is here, and you're so used to like such great stress in your life, or like such high emotions, that coming just down a little bit seems like you've actually come to balance, but you haven't. Like you're actually still far from balance, or not close enough to the balance. So just take a look at that. Again, I'm not a therapist, so I don't know how to recommend specifics, but these are just what really helped me and what I took a look at very clearly for myself before I was able to really move forward into full recovery when I was in stage 2 or phase 2 and 3. All right, next one, too eager to move forward. like you just are so sick of this health crash and it feels so awful, you just want to, move to the next phase. Whether if you're following my system of the 5 phases or just in general, you just want to move past this. You want to get better. But if you're not better yet for real, and you push yourself to be better, you're doing yourself a disservice and you're going to get setbacks. Okay, so take a look at that, guys. That really is a common cause why people are struggling in that initial phase of recovery and they can't move forward, or at least they aren't able to move forward as fast as the majority of people who are recovering that I've talked to. Okay, so number 8, not enough time has passed. Okay, so this can vary from person to person. So like I said, the phases generally last between 3 to 6 months. That is the average for myself and a sum of everyone I've talked to in my memory that I took an average of. So 3 to 6 months. Definitely could be more because there are people I've talked to that was more. Definitely could be less. There's people who I've talked to that is less. But the average is around 3 to 6 months. So, some people are getting, like, I see it in my comments all the time, like people are, just a couple months into it, or people email me and they just got into this same type of health issue and, 3 weeks into it and they're like, why am I not fully recovered? Again, I don't want to rain on your parade if you are fully feeling like you can recover in a month. That would be wonderful. But from my own experience, from all the people I've talked to, which is quite a few people now, it's going to take longer than that. So if you need enough time to pass. Number 9 is you're unable to cut out, like going back to a few reasons ago, or a few possible reasons why you're still stuck in these phases, about the stress management and that you're just accustomed to so much stress that you aren't realizing that you're still stressed out. Well, number 9 is, ties into that, where you can't, like, let's say you can't quit your job so that you can take time to really rest. And I totally understand that. Like, we have obligations and life goes on regardless of your health crash condition, and we just have to make do with what we can. But yeah, that could be a reason. Like you just don't have either the financial space or the time or people to help you. Whatever the reason, you aren't able to take all the action that you need to take to fully feel like you're in that like optimal recovering state, which is totally understandable. And I think my suggestion with that is to do the best that you can and give yourself longer time, because the more that you can cut out stressors, the quicker you're going to be able to heal and bounce back from this. Because even even if you just did everything perfect, it already is going to take time. So like now that if your situation doesn't allow you to do like everything perfect, like, not have a physical job and have all the time to rest that you want and have somebody to prep food for you so you don't have to stress out with prepping food and X, Y, and Z. It's going to take probably longer than if somebody has all that privilege and luxury to just stop and heal this. So keep that in mind, and certainly don't be discouraged, because I was blessed to be in a place where I didn't have to, financially I didn't have stress, and also physically I didn't have to be anywhere for work, so I could do a lot of the recovering that I needed to do. But I also didn't have anyone around me to help me. I didn't have family near, and I didn't, want to bother my friends, and I had 2 dogs that I had to take care of. So it wasn't that I wasn't able to also cut out everything, but I was able to make all this happen. And reach full recovery. So don't get discouraged. Just do the best you can. That's the best thing I can say for this particular reason, and just allows yourself to take longer time. Okay, and the last one I have here is that you are doing too many like supplements, different modalities of healing. like just too much at once. So sometimes too much of a good thing isn't actually good. Like I've mentioned before, I would pick just a few supplements to start with. And if you want to, check out my other videos, there's more details on the supplements and stuff like that. But overall, I just wouldn't overwhelm yourself with another stressor in disguise, which is to take on this whole thing of how you're going to recover as like a new job almost. Because that's what you're trying to get away from, is to not have an agenda, not have a to-do list, not have a deadline, not have those stressors. And now it's almost like disguising itself in a new form, which is, oh, well, I'm going to recover, so let me do a recovery to-do list. Let me do this and that, and let's just get on this huge, supplement regimen. And guys, remember, it's funny how the same habit could sneak back in so many different ways without you realizing it. Because by doing that, you're doing the exact same thing you're doing before, which caused you to have this health crash and health issue. So don't do that, guys. Just let go of it. Pick a few things that works for you. Pick a few supplements that work for you. Enjoy it. Take your time. Be consistent. Do the fundamental 3 things, which is food, recovery, and sleep. And just add a few things as icings on top on the cake, and stick with it and give yourself time. And just keep in mind these 10 reasons that I just shared with you. And I think that could really help if you're stuck in phase 2 and 3 of the health crash recovery. That's all I have for you today. I hope this was helpful. I think it could be, because I'm getting a lot of questions of people being stuck on phase 2 and 3. And personally, I struggled in phase 2 for sure, until eventually I figured it out. But you're not alone if you are. So think about these reasons, try to apply them. If it resonates with you, it could definitely help you out, and I hope it does. Again, good luck on your recovery on this, and I am definitely an example of that. You can definitely fully come back from this if you're experiencing, adrenal fatigue, burnout, hormonal imbalances, HPA axis dysfunction, panic attacks, anxiety disorders, all that. I was able to fully come back and heal, fully recover from that, and now it's been like between 7 and 8 months that I fully recovered, and I'm doing extremely well. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you on my next video. It will, most likely my next video will be the what I recommend in phase 4, which is when you have fully recovered, you're out of 2 and 3, and you are secure and consistently feeling much better. It's the 4th phase, and it's just 1 phase away from the final full recovery phase, which is phase 5, and that will be another video I'll do after phase 4. All right, thanks guys, and have a great day. I'll see you next time. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and share my videos with others. That would really help me expand my audience. If you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button as well as the bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I upload new content. I now have PayPal Donate, so if you're interested in that and you want to support my channel, you can click on the link in my comment section as well as the upper right hand corner of my channel homepage. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. As always, remember, it's never too late to optimize yourself, and you can always start right now. Until next time, I'm Jaden Christopher, and I'm wishing you a thriving day. Bye.